Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
We do have confirmation about how much Andor as a whole took to make.
Okay, I heard like 640 some million or something like that.
Yep, $650 million.
That is a lot of money.
That's what Forbes said, like it was 645. Tony Gilroy has come out and said it was 650 for 24 episodes.
I mean, when you figure that was, if you want to break it down, it's almost like, 8 movies in a way? Like each season you could kind of break into 3 episode or 4 story arcs of 3 episodes, even though there's some of them don't always align perfectly in the first season. But that's like 8 movies, right? It's a good price.
But he has some weird comments he said about the money and stuff.
Okay.
He said, for Disney, this is $650 million for 24 episodes. I never took a note. We said, F the Empire in the first season, and they said, can you please not do that?
I'm glad they didn't do that. I don't think we need F.
Fight, I think, is better.
Yeah, I think so. And I understand it would have been like, if you try to use Star Wars profanity, it doesn't come off the same way or sounds weird if you don't know Star Wars profanity.
Right. Well, continuing the quote, he says, in season 2, they said, streaming is dead. We don't have the money we had before. So we fought hard about money. But they never cleaned anything up. That freedom comes with responsibilities.
Streaming is dead?
Maybe they just thought they're not figuring out how to make the money out of it. They spent a lot of money acquiring Star Wars, acquiring Marvel, setting up this entire streaming thing. And maybe they just haven't seen the results yet. It takes a lot of time to make money back on streaming. Netflix had an advantage. They were the first.
Yeah, and now everybody has Netflix, and then other ones, it feels like.
Netflix started with a service where you would have the DVDs mailed to you.
Yeah, I had that. I had that.
Yeah, they were mailed to you. When you finished, you put them back in the prepaid thing and mailed them on back.
I wonder if they got their idea to some degree because, at least for me back in the day, I lived with some friends way back in the early 2000s when that, I think, started to become popular. And we would always get series, we'd get disc 1, 2, and 3 of this series because we didn't have HBO or whatever it might be. And that was the best way to watch them. I wonder if they're there's something with these series that everybody loves to watch. And then eventually Netflix became the place for series.
Right. It was crazy because remember on the waiting list, you'd have to sit there and go, the disc is on hold.
Yeah.
So you had to pause what you were doing and get something else while you waited. It was crazy.
It's a weird transition from Blockbuster to Netflix.
Right. And then Redbox came along where you could just go and get them. And there was another box too, but that one didn't do well because it wasn't Redbox. Exactly.
You're first. If you're not first, you're last.
Right. Isn't that what happened with HD? Didn't somebody try to make...
there was just an HD DVD. I think it was just called HD. It's actually, that was 15 years ago now.
Didn't it compete with Blu-ray?
Years.
Was that
there were 2 formats. There was Blu-ray and then I think it was just called HD DVD and Blu-ray 1.
It was more catchy.
Yeah. You can still find from 20 years ago old HD DVDs or whatever
seen them
called. Yeah.
In the disco
disco,
story.
yeah.
All right, but continuing on, it was a lot of money. Will Disney spend that kind of money again, you think, on a series? Or do you think they're going to try and keep cutting back, moving more to things like the volume, going smaller scale?
I hope, and I've said it before, I'll say it again here, I hope the lesson from Andor is writing. It's not necessarily... Andor isn't necessarily fantastic because it looks amazing. Yes, it's a whole package, right? It really looks great. It's beautifully scored. The costumes look great. Everything is good. The set design, everything is flawless. But none of that matters if the writing was crap.
Absolutely.
So I hope the lesson from Andor for Disney and Lucasfilm is if we write it, they will come. Even if it doesn't look as good as Andor, if the writing is there, they will watch.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, I'm going to transition into some other things Tony Gilroy has said recently that I found fun. Okay. He kind of commented somewhat on the fate of Dedra Miro.
The long-term fate?
The long-term
Because we know what her immediate fate was, yeah.
Well...
Narkin 5, yeah.
Immediate-ish.
Well, at the end of Andor, we know where she is.
Well, he comments about how he kind of came up with doing that and where that came from. Andor is interesting because it shows you a lot of the bureaucracy behind the Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Getting that hard look at the ISB through her eyes. She was our fresh character. She was our person who was supposed to introduce us to everything. She's ambitious. She's a rising star. You kind of feel sympathy for her, and then you turn around and you're like, oh, wait, she's horrible.
Yeah, she's just bad.
I mean, you even feel sympathy when she's like, she gets the job on Gorman, and you feel like she doesn't want it. But you get confused because you think she doesn't want this job because she doesn't want to hurt those people. No, she doesn't want the job because she wants to hunt Axis. That's what she wants. Yeah. It's nothing to do. Yeah, it's nothing to do with.
Yeah, she
I
has
don't want
no
to hurt any of those
it,
people or make any of this stuff up. I just want to go do what I want to do.
Yeah, I think she shows her true colors when she has that final talk with Cyril and is like, "Hey, we're getting promoted. We're going back to
You can really see the ambition.
She's like, "Yes, it's time to go back to hunting Axis and a promotion."
Right, and that's not.
No.
Yeah.
No, she's not a good person at all.
But Tony Gilroy kind of talked with like Vanity Fair about what became of her character at the end of the series, sending her to that prison a fate worse than death. Because we've seen this prison. We know what it is like. Yeah. She's arrested. I mean, Krennic says, if you're not a rebel spy, you've missed your calling. Because she's so blinded with this tunnel vision she has of, I'm taking out Axis, that she missed everything around her, missed the fact that these files were important. I shouldn't look at these.
Yeah, she is in large part responsible for the downfall of the Empire. If you want to look at like where it all went wrong, it's Dedra.
She should have noticed.
Yes, Dedra having those files so Lonnie could find them, so Lonnie could pass them to Luthen, and well, we know the chain reaction from there.
But what's cool is that when season 1 of Andor finished, apparently Disney usually destroys a lot of sets. Right away, they start taking everything down, pulling everything apart, because they got other setups they have to do. So Tony says, I remember telling Luke Hall, the show's production designer, oh man, save a piece of Narkina. Save me a shot of that cell because I think we'll probably use it. So he literally had to have them save that set piece.
Yeah, just a little box.
Just
one of the little cubicles
just give me one box. Yeah. I just want one box, man.
Yeah.
One box. Because he had a thought. He had a thought. He said, having been through Narkina and having written through it and kind of lived through it and sort of inhabited it imaginatively, yeah, it's worse than death. Because it's a slow death. It's dehumanizing. Yeah. They strip you down to just you work, you sleep.
You're a
you
droid,
work, you sleep. Your only benefit is my food has flavor today.
Well, if you win. If not, you're getting shot.
Yeah. So what else is kind of fun to note is that Denise Goff, who, of course, plays Dedra, said back during season 1 of Andor that she did not want a redemption for her character. And now, more recently, speaking to Yahoo, she said she found Dedra's ending interesting. That she found it righteous and a gift to the audience, a gift that was built on the profound episodes of season 1.
Yeah, I would have never predicted that fate for her because we didn't know she was going to be turned on by the Empire for being, incompetent in a manner of speaking. Said, so we would have never guessed going to Narkina.
She said, I think to have that, such a tiny image of Dedra at the end, and the place where we saw, it's all the setup from season 1, what she's going to have to go through now and there.
Yeah. It's perfect because we know exactly what she's going to have to go through in there.
Yeah,
and we were like,
serving the Empire until the end.
Yeah.
It's just kind of amazing how that all tied together. Tony Gilroy going, you know what? Save a piece of this. I think I'm going to use this. Yeah. Like, he didn't know at the time, but he's like, I think I have a plan, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, what's funny is the popular theory that I saw for Dedra's fate before, obviously we knew it, was she's going to be promoted and posted to the Death Star as a kind of like a prestige
that
position.
Would have been something too.
I mean, yeah, but this one was much better. Yeah.
But then you also think she might get out someday. When the rebellion eventually wins and they eventually free that place, if she's still alive, she's gonna... Well, unless they look up her records in the computer,
they can look up... Here's the problem, though. They could look up her record and find out that she was imprisoned for being a rebel spy.
And think she's a hero?
She could play it off as like, because Luthen will be obviously long dead, but Clea would be her downfall.
I don't think she's built for imprisonment, though. I don't think she...
No,
I mean, honestly...
I'm simply saying, if you want to play it out, and she survives another 5 years in there until the rebellion wins...
Like I told you, and I think maybe just Disney might have backed him down from it. My theory was that when I saw Dedra in there, I thought the shot was going to pan down the hall, and all of a sudden you'd be like, the floor! It's going to be there till morning. I thought she was going to, as I put it, kiss the floor.
Yeah.
To be like, no, I can't do this. I'm too loyal. I won't.
Yeah, but it's better that she didn't do that because it's the Kino Loy thing again, where your imagination fills in the blank. Did she just get up and walk out there, or does she sit there for 5 years until the rebellion wins, and then maybe she gets out and is seen as a hero because she was feeding information?
I don't think she's built to stay there.
Yeah, even though we know she wasn't. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe someday they'll deal with it in a book or something. But for now, we have our imaginations. And for now, that's all we got for you this time. So now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. Tell me what you think happened to Dedra, or what eventually happens. Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.